These awards have been earned by their success in academics, the other activities they have been endeavoring in. The first award I will be giving tonight is the Math Award. This award is given by the math teacher. The student is selected for this award. He or she must achieve academic excellence in math. He or she must display outstanding performance in understanding advanced mathematical concepts. This year's Math Award is presented to George Suarez. The second award that I'd like to give tonight is the Journalism Award. This award goes to the student that displayed talent in the area of journalism technique and yearbook design. The student has to achieve academic excellence, and to be a candidate for this award, he must have had a good working relationship with the sponsor. This year's Journalism Award is presented to Billy Shepard. The next award, this award is presented to a person in choral music. Mr. Owens gave me two recipients, and one of our recipients is a senior, so I will give that award tonight to one of our seniors that received this music award. The Choral Music Award goes to the students selected that have displayed talent in choral music, have a Christian attitude, and exhibit a desire to achieve in music. This year's Music Award is presented to Kay Bergman. The next award I will be giving is the Improved Student Award. The following students were nominated for the Improved Girl Award by the teachers of Valley Christian School. These nominees were then voted on by the student body and faculty. The nominees from our seniors were Mary Adams and Patty Ybarra. To be nominated for this award, the following things were considered. The student must display a Christian attitude. The student must exhibit academic improvement. The student must display a willingness to achieve. And this student had to be enrolled in VCS for more than 2 years or more. Now, both nominees were worthy of the award, but through the voting process, this award goes to Mary Adams. The next award is Boy Most Likely to Succeed. The following students were nominated by the teachers of Valley Christian School. The nominees were then voted on by the student body and faculty of VCS. The nominees are George Suarez, Luis Galvan, and Raul Castro. To be nominated, the following things were considered. The student must have a Christian attitude, must exhibit successful leadership in schoolwork and social life, must display a spirit of success, and must achieve in academic excellence. As I said before, all three were worthy of the award, but through the voting process, this award goes to Raul Castro. The next award is the Basketball Award. This student was selected by our basketball coach and team. This student displayed dedication, athletic skill, and leadership in men's basketball. This year's Basketball Award is presented to Raul Castro. Now the last two recognitions are salutatorian and our valedictorian. This is the Scholarship Award of Valley Christian School. It's presented to, I'll say the name in a moment, in recognition of outstanding academic achievement and and leadership by the administration and faculty of Valley Christian School, this student had a GPA grade point average of 3.3. This year's salutatorian is Ralph Casper. This next cat out of the bag. The Scholarship Award for valedictorian, in recognition of outstanding academic achievement and leadership by the administration and faculty of Valley Christian School. The valedictorian had a GPA of 3.7, Mr. Tracy Morris.
Board members, principals, faculty, parents, student body, and friends. The time has come for the senior class of 1987 to look back on our accomplishments, and look ahead at the accomplishments that we hope to make in the future. First, let us look back at our elementary and junior high years. We can all recall special moments. We've each had those special days where we think this is the greatest day of our life. And then another day comes along, we think this is the greatest day of our life. Along with the very special days, we've had successes and failures. As we look back on our successes and our failures, we realize that the failures have played an important role in our succeeding. When we were younger and we failed, we may have thought this was the end of the world. We may have thought we should give up, but we could never amount to anything. Thanks to our parents, teachers, and friends, we have soon built the courage to try again. Through our failures, we have become stronger and wiser. We have soon realized what we need to do to succeed and where we were wrong. We even tried to set goals. First, we set easy goals, goals that we knew we could accomplish. This gave us a good feel. That maybe a friend would do something better, something we knew we could do, but we were just too afraid to set a higher goal, afraid of failing. Eventually, we start setting higher goals. We realized that in setting higher goals, even if we did not reach them, we'd make it farther than when we set a small goal. Now let us look back at our senior year. Did we accomplish all that we had hoped to accomplish? Did we work as hard as we wanted to? Or did we just work hard enough to make it? Yes, we did succeed in something. We have completed our high school education. We are now ready to decide what we are going to do with our life. We are now about to step outside the gates of our high school and do that as a larger life. We have already been planning for our future, setting more goals. At this time, our hopes are high, our ambitions are noble, and we are determined to succeed. We need an idealistic outlook to inspire us. We need an unlimited vision. Of course, while we keep the vision of the true ideal before us, we must not be unmindful of the vision of the reality. Some of us will be going to college, some of us to technical or trade school. But whatever we do, we will all be preparing ourselves for the battle that will come tomorrow. As we look ahead, we see there are many opportunities for us. After tonight, each of us will go on our separate ways. We will be stepping into a new world, meeting new friends and meeting new people and making new friends. But we will all be going out with the same goal, to make it in life, to succeed. But none of us will want to make it unless we put our total faith in God. Just as a child, when taking his first few steps, puts his faith in his father or mother, the child was to stop and reason. If the child was old enough to reason, he would know that his strength is not great enough to complete his walk without help. We must put our total faith in God. To hesitate and reason that we can never do it except under defeat. Our lives will always be hampered by things in doing that stand as a wall between us and our God. If you look to God, He will carry you over the wall or obstacle in your life. You will someday come out ahead, a success in life, a friend of man, a credit to society. And if you put your hand in God's hand, trust Him, commit your life in His keeping, you will find life eternal.
Hold on to the moment. Single file and yet together, we have shared our greatest day. And we carry common memories in several different ways. Though we don't know where we're going, we will cherish where we've been. I want to cry. I want to shout. I want to let this feeling out. Hold on to the moment. Let the feeling show. Hold on to the moment. Never let it go. I can picture us together, with my arms around my friends. Just let me hold on to this moment before it ends. There was laughter, there were tears, through the dozen golden years.
high school students. This man came every Thursday, has for the last several years, and has spoken to our student body. He's a great man. He's an author, pastor in the Valley for many years, evangelist. We're grateful to have him tonight as our commencement speaker. Tonight we have Brother Sean Wilder.
Good young people of the 1987 graduating class of the Valley Christian High School, and all of you lovely and wonderful people who have shown your love and interest in them by being here tonight, papas and mamas, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles and grandfathers and grandmothers, and many friends and faculty. I'm certainly glad to see every one of you. Now, I have one request today. Please don't snap those camera lights while I'm trying to speak, because I lose my place every time you do. I've never got used to those things yet. I suppose it's all right to take pictures in a place like this, but please don't take them while I'm trying to talk. I'll forget where I am. And that's embarrassing to everyone. Thank you very much. You're a lovely, sweet bunch of folks. In the western Sierra Madre Mountains, Occidental western mountains of western Mexico, there lived a very wealthy ranch owner. He was a single man, lived alone except with a escort of many servants. He owned a great hacienda, many thousands of acres of ranch land, many people working for him, and his hacienda was actually a little town all of its own. He lived alone there in the great house, served faithfully by his many servants. And then around the great house there were the smaller houses of the ranch foreman and the blacksmith and the saddle workers and the cowboys and the cooks and all the other people. Now this rancher loved to hunt El Tigre, the tiger. The Mexican people and the Central Americans call him, you and I call him, the jaguar. Now the jaguar is a big cat. A grown male jaguar is a magnificent animal. He'll weigh more than 200 pounds. He's not a very high animal, standing no higher than the shoulder of a big German police dog. But I saw a jaguar male one time in the Bronx Zoo in New York City that was 9 feet long, from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. It's a magnificent animal, spotted, tawny with black spots, and when he moves, he's a poem of muscular rhythm. And you can see the great muscles ripple under that beautiful skin. Now the jaguar has a head about as big as a basketball, and he has powerful jaws and great tushes that can really do lots of damage. It is said that the jaguar can slap a grown bull out on the range and break the bull's neck. It is said that a jaguar can wait in the limb of a tree, and a horse comes under that tree. The jaguar will jump on the horse's back, bite him right behind the ears, he knows where to bite the horse, and break his neck with one punch of his jaws. So a jaguar is a formidable animal. Now, this rancher loved to hunt El Tigre, the jaguar. Oh, how he loved to hunt the jaguar. And just as often as he could, he would get his cowboys together, and then he had some special tiger dogs that really knew how to hunt out and find and back up in for the Jaguar so they could get it. Now then, that was an occasion when this rancher told his foreman, "Manana, we're going jaguar hunting." Sí, senor. So, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the cowboys were out there in front. It was chilly, it was cold in the high mountain air. They were waiting for the master to come out. His beautiful horse with his silvery saddle was all ready. Now the master came out with his fine rifle, all decked out as a wealthy sportsman would be. He mounted his horse, they let loose the dogs, and they headed for the high country several miles away. Well, the dogs were just as anxious to go hunting as the cowboys, and as the master of the hacienda was anxious. And the dogs ran along there sniffing and just full of pep. All their ears were alert and their tails bowed over their backs. Oh, they were a happy bunch. And pretty soon the dogs kind of got ahead of the horsemen. And way out there in the edge of the hills, among the greater rocks, all of a sudden, one of those hounds gave voice to his excitement. Oh, 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 oh. And the other dogs, they caught on to it, and they took a oh, 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 and then the whole pack took up. And they spent how long smelling the ground, and sure enough then, they just nearly went crazy. They were on the trail of the jaguar. Let's go! Yee-hoo! Well, the cowboys took off with the master like leading the bunch. They went for 2 or 3 miles that way, and they got up to that edge of the mountain, and big rocks right there as a house. And those dogs were just having a fit, and those cowboys and that ranchman, they could tell by the sound of the dogs calling just what was going on. And the tone of the howling changed, and the master said, they got him. They got him. And sure enough, they rode on up there, and those dogs were around the great rock, and those dogs were just having a fit, leaping up and howling like they never quit howling. The cowboy stayed back, and the rancher, having the place of honor, he dismounted and took his rifle and cautiously stepped forward, looking down. It was getting daylight now, and there on top of that rock was a huge female jaguar. The rancher very carefully brought up his rifle, and he brought her down. And she tumbled down among those hounds, and those hounds really had themselves a time. Now, while the cowboys were skinning the jaguar, suddenly they heard a sound. And it was a sound like the mewling of a kitten. Meow, wow, meow. And the rancher stood up and he said, "There's a baby jaguar somewhere." This old mama jaguar had a kitten. And the cowboys all got interested. And they, 2 or 3 of them took off their leather jackets and got ready, held them up, and they went looking, and sure enough, back in between 2 rocks was that little jaguar about as big as a big house cat, like Beagle, a baby jaguar. And the rancher said, don't kill him, don't hurt him, I want that jaguar, I want him. So one of the cowboys very carefully walked up there, and he crept up slowly, and he threw that leather jacket over that jaguar, and of all the all the excitement, they just were having themselves all family. They wrapped that baby jaguar up and clutched it tightly, and finally the rancher was able to get back on the horse with that baby jaguar, and they headed back for the great hacienda at home. The ranch foreman says, "Senor, what are you going to do with this baby jaguar? What are you going to do with it?" And the master said, "I've wanted a baby jaguar all my life. And I'm going to raise this jaguar with my own hands, and I'm going to have me a pet jaguar at my house." The ranch foreman said, "Oh, no, senor. Hasta muy peligroso este animal. El tigre no vuelve por su casa." Muy peligroso. He said, "I don't care if he is dangerous. I'm going to raise this. I'll feed him with milk out of my own hand. I'll take care of him." Well, there was a lot of excitement around the house. Hacienda, and none of the people liked it. They just didn't like the idea of a jaguar being in their midst there every day. But the old rancher said, I'm going to have my jaguar. Well, the jaguar, 6 months went by, and that jaguar got to be a great big thing, big as a German police dog, weighing nearly 100 pounds. And the people around the ranch didn't like him, and they were afraid of him. And that big old jaguar would run around, that big old half-grown kitten, he'd run around the ranch house and just make himself at home like any house cat would do. And by and by, the major domo, the head servant of the hospital, came to the rancher and said, Senor, I will not work for you anymore. I must go. Well, why must you go? He said, I will not work with this jaguar. I'm afraid of the tigre. And pretty soon, the cook came. And she said, I will not work here anymore. I'm afraid of that tigre. Muy peligroso. And the rancher said, well, if you want to go, you go. I'll get somebody else or I'll cook my own meat. And pretty soon, there wasn't a servant in that whole big house. All right, if that's the way you feel, everybody leave. I'll keep my jaguar. I'd rather have my jaguar than you anyhow. Well, the days went by, and pretty soon the rancher's friends would come dropping by. Sometimes they'd come by and spend the night, spend 2 or 3 days with him. They'd have a big barbecue and have a big time. But now they quit coming because that jaguar was grown. And he was a magnificent. All those great muscles would ripple under that torn skin. And his great claws, his claws were big as my little finger. And he yawned those great jaws that scared you. Looked like a red scarlet tavern back. And those huge front teeth, those tushes. Nobody would come around the house except the master. And he loved that jaguar. The people kept telling him, said, Senor, this is a dangerous cat, and one day he will kill you. But he says he's a pet. The jaguar loves me. I love him. We're good friends. He's my pet. But, Senor, he is from the jungle. He is from the mountain. The jungle and the mountain are enemies. A wild animal, and one day he will kill you. No. But one day the once went by, and the jaguar was 2 or 3 years old, a magnificent animal, huge. And the rancher had been out on the range, and he brushed a bramble bush, and he scratched the side of his hand. And the hand bled a little bit, but he wrapped the handkerchief and forgot about it. He was tired, he came home that night, and he fixed himself a bite of supper, and he sat down in his favorite easy chair, and he began to read. And that big old jaguar came in the room and rubbed up against him like a big old cat rubbed up against him. He rubbed up against him. He pet him a little bit and said, now go away, and cuffed him away. And the jaguar left for a few minutes, and pretty soon he came back. And then the rancher noticed something happened, and that jaguar was licking that wound on the side of his hand. And it was now bleeding all afresh. And that jaguar was bleeding into that blood, and his eyes were coals of fire. And the rancher saw that and kind of startled him, and he slapped the jaguar, said, get back, get back. And the old jaguar didn't much more get back. First time he hadn't responded. But now finally he backed up and disappeared down the hall. And the rancher wrapped the handkerchief around his hand and went back to read. And as he read, he couldn't get his mind on what he was reading. Something was wrong. Something was terribly wrong. There was an atmosphere. There was danger. There was a weirdness. There was a haunting something down the room. He just didn't feel comfortable. And all of a sudden, he had to look up, and there, at the entrance of the hall, where the hall went down into the back of the house, there was the jaguar.